channel in the Discord.
A showcase.
Remember to redeem the 2 codes we shared throughout this showcase, and the third and final one, right here, for unique Dreamlight themed.
That jacket looks cool. I like that. That's a good punk rocker look.
Items in.
I need to take my dream snaps for today. I might take it in that jacket and not the actual rocker jacket.
And stay tuned to our social channels over the coming
No, I think
weeks
I already
for
took
even more
one. I might take a better
on these
one.
Exciting new releases. Disney Dreamlight Valley, the Storybook Vale expansion pass launches on November 20th, and the So Delightful update arrives on December 4th.
See you in the valley.
So we got 3 weeks for the new expansion, and then about a little over a month for the new update, which is going to include Sally and the floating islands to decorate. Okay, let's do a little bit of looking here. Let's do a little bit of looking here. So, the gold edition, if you were to get that whole bundle of the base game, the expansion, and then the 15,000 or whatever moonstones, and the capybara, and the house, and the outfit, currently right now is $42 US, when it's normally $70. If you just want the Rift in Time expansion, which comes with 5,000 moonstones, currently that's about $19.50 US. So there you go. So I would have to assume that the new DLC is going to be 30. Maybe 40 with the Magic Edition with all the extra items. That's my guess. The Gold Edition is only $2 more than the base game. Yeah. And the Gold Edition comes with the first DLC. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And all those extra things. Ridiculously hard to put down. You're right, IGN. So there you go. Yeah, any questions? Any predictions that we haven't already talked about? Anything? I'm gonna get the game fired up. I want to focus on questing, but also star pathing. So we're just going to get in and play around as hard as I can for the next few hours. Because I would love... I mean, if this new expansion is coming in 3 weeks, I'd like to have all of my questing caught up before the new expansion. So I have a lot to do. Start all over. There'd be a lot of stuff I work to get that I don't have. Yeah, that's true. But you'd get the fun of going through it all over again. But the Star Path stuff would be missing, yeah. I wish you could have, like, account-wide access to things that you've purchased. You know? Like, even if you had to buy the game itself. Also, Glitter, I don't know if you have Game Pass. It is on Game Pass. The base game, anyway. The DLC isn't, but... Anyway. Let's come back here for a second while I get everything situated. So what did we think? I'm here. You may begin. Earl, we're just about to start the game. There wasn't an entire showcase that we watched twice. You're just in time. We're gonna start the game. It wasn't it? Oh my god. I shrieked multiple times, involuntarily. Like, not putting on a face as a streamer. Like, actually shrieked. Okay. Good times. Judge, hi!
Always right.
Hi, Judge. Judge, did you see the video? Did you see the video? Also, that mummy kitty emote is adorable. A second DLC having another Rapunzel character and one I don't care about. Boo. Earl did not judge. Judge, our prayers have been answered. Yeah, Flynn is, no. Flynn is, expansion. Flynn's DLC. Judge, what's one of the biggest things I've been bitching about this game? About decorating. Aladdin and Jasmine. Oh, that is just Aladdin, isn't it? Why was I saying a boo? In my head, we already had Aladdin. I don't know why. Basically, no. Flynn, Merida, and Hades are coming with part 1 of the new expansion, which is all storybook themed. And then when we get the second part of the expansion in the summer, that's when we get Maleficent, and they teased Aurora. Earl, I haven't finished it yet. Thanks. I'm going to be questing. I want to get, because we have 3 weeks until the expansion. And then the new update comes December 4th. That's when we get Sally. That's when we get the floating islands. Judge, we get floating islands to decorate that are they have no stuff that you have to pick up. They're completely blank slates. They mirror themselves on biomes that we already have and are supposed to be comparable in size. We get all of the houses and characters and furniture that we've unlocked, and it's a separate item limit. And with that update, 16 cardinal points of rotation for items, including food and flowers and landscape items. Rotation, my friend. 16 points of rotation. So not even just 45-degree angles. I also have 16 points of rotation. Earl. They don't have it yet for fences and paths, but they said they will. Who's doing the spinnies? Reaper? Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, I forgot to answer Reaper. Reaper DM'd me this morning. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, now they can work on the grid, like, I don't know, eliminating it. So, Judge, you watch the whole presentation when you can, because there's so much information they packed in there. And we just went through it a second time. Eliminate the grid? Are you out of your mind? No! No, I'm not! At least give me the option to toggle off the grid. Or at least make the boxes smaller. Or, I don't know, an odd number of them so I can have a center. Even half tile movement on the grid. Yeah. Yeah. Earl, you're fine. I'm moving on. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. I promise. Centering is a travesty. I know. I want to show you a couple things. I know we've already gone through it, but I want to show Judge a couple things. Okay, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. So, with Sally, look at the cute things that we're gonna get with Sally's friendship quests. Place items off-grid, all the Sims. Yeah. A cheat box, a toggle switch, something. Hang on. Hold, please. Hold. Friendship rewards. Here we go. Look at this. The dress, the rug, the fireplace, this bed I cannot get over that I want IRL because of the headboard, the curtains, and there's like a little thing for the wall, the little monster thing. So I'm very excited about that. And then the new wintry star path that we're going to get. Again, this is December 4th. And I'm dying with this theme. Do you see how beautiful that craft table is with all the blue crystals and the snow around the edges and all the little blue touches? And then this gazebo, are you kidding me? The crystals that we can put outside for decorations, the jacket, and then just like the bubble wand, we're gonna get this wand that makes snowflakes. So just like the bubble wand accessory, we'll get a snowflake accessory. Suck. Okay, here's the thing with the floating islands. So we're gonna get a frozen, the frosted island, a sunlit plateau island, a forest island, and a plaza island. Friends will be able to visit the islands, so I could do redemptions for people decorating an island, and people can come. I don't know if they can physically help, but they could at least stand in the space and be like, I want that thing over here. You know, stuff like that. And then, like I said, all of the items that you've ever gotten are going to be available. All the characters are going to be available. You won't ever have to clean it up. It's not going to get full of sticks and rocks and all that kind of crap. Because I just told the Tiny I was going to do dishes, and he said, bishes? Yes. Dishes are bishes. I've been lightly decorating more and more. I just I'm going to be redecorating all of the things, Earl, soon. So I picked a good time to just, like, start over with the decorating. A villain island. Yeah, somebody said that in the presentation. They're like, I'm gonna put Maleficent on my villain island. I'm like, yeah. Probably not, unless one of them has a lot of water. It's like, well, it looked like you can add the landscaping elements, so you'll probably be able to add lakes and stuff. Yeah, they said they were going to be comparable in size to the other stuff. See, oh, that's pavement. Wait, wait. Oh, that's a decorative item. I think they're surrounded by water, though, because when we saw the teaser, like, the top corner of this island, what you see back here behind the trees, that's water. And then there was, like, a little island over here on the island that they put Skull Island on. So, it's almost like you're surrounded island and water instead of air. Yeah, because it looked like, on Twitter, the teaser that they shared, that they were in water that was falling off the side of the world like it does out on Dazzle Beach at the end of the ocean. So, let me show you. Here. So this is all water here, and then this island, and then this is all water, and it's fallen off the side. So you could probably have Ursula, because there's a situation like this. And I wonder if it's the same with all the islands. Maybe at least on, like, one or two of the sides, you know? Don't know. Roadmap. Aladdin and Jasmine. Probably January or February. Spring, we get Cheshire Cat. She also teased with her words, tea parties and cards. So definitely Alice in Wonderland style spring updates. Falling or an invisible force field. Yeah, something like that. Early summer, so probably June. We get the Skull Rock stuff. And we're assuming that this red feather is like what's in Peter Pan's cap. They didn't have any word clues with that one, though. Do you think Tinkerbell's in it? That would be cool. Here, let's watch this again.
Welcome to the Storybook Vale.
So this is all about the new expansion, Judge. I don't know if you're watching.
Life here hasn't been so happily ever after. But it wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, the Storybook Vale was a land made up of legendary stories, where myths and fairy tales sprang to life.
Merida.
Until one day, powerful villains stole it away and twisted it to their image. But their wicked nature didn't keep them friendly for long. Their hunger for power tore the veil apart. But all is not lost forever.
Earl, you're right.
This magical world floating in
the Forgotten. The Forgotten said, because you just probably went through those quests more recently than I did. So we remembered that it was that the skull in the rock skull thing was teased at the end of the Forgotten's storyline. So you're saying that they said that they used to play, it was a friend they used to play with as kids. So yeah, probably Peter Pan. Yeah, and if it's the feather in the cap, I bet you it's going to be Peter Pan. But I bet you we're also going to see Tinkerbell and Captain Hook. And then maybe eventually it'd be cool to get Wendy. But yeah, that's my guess.
the sky.
Oh, I paused this for a reason. Yeah, Hades, Maleficent's coming in the summertime.
Tore the veil apart. But all is not lost forever. Explore the
This house here is Flynn Rider's house, so we get another little cottage looking thing with like purple flowers on the roof and stuff. There's Merida. All the buildings are like this fall autumnal style. All the landscape has got like bookshelves and stuff like worked into the sides of the rocks and trees and all that kind of stuff, and I'm living for it.
This magical world floating in the sky. Discover an enchanted
There's our new
artifact.
tool. It's a net basically to catch these little paper origami birds and imps and frogs. Are called snippets, and they have been let loose, and they contain missing parts of the lore apparently. So our job is going to be to catch them, to catch and put the lore back in its
Capture
place.
treasured tales that
Look at the little frog with the flower.
have taken on a life of their own.
And the little imps.
Unravel mythic
And then
riddles
these are going to be actual jigsaw puzzles that we put together, not in the big pieces that are chunked out like this, but smaller pieces, and we get to actually put together the puzzle. And then when the puzzle's done like this, we get to put it as a decor item on the wall.
and reveal their hidden secrets.
We get trials and stuff to do. Owls are one of the new companion pets.
We discover long-lost fables and help old
So there was that autumnal library realm in the new DLC that's called the Bind. There's the it's not Mythopia, it's Mythopia, I think. So Greek mythology, like all wheat farms and white rocks and stuff, and then the ruins of Olympus. And then there's this realm, which is the enchantment or enchanted something, I think. All like glowy mushrooms and flora and teacups and flowers and all that stuff.
friends come back together.
Here's your Aurora tease. Look at how badass this cover art is. I just want this as a poster. Like, take out the characters and just give me Hades and Maleficent in that stare off from their two different realms with the library in front of it. I just want that as a poster. Please. I beg. They're going to do a pre-order for the DLC. I bet you they're going to pre-order.
Disney.
And I for the new people coming in, people have heard me say this 80 gajillion times this morning already, but I can't get over the books that are like embedded in the landscape with the rocks in the trees just kind of growing over bookshelves and stuff.
Dreamlight Valley. The Storybook Vale, Part 1, launches November 20.
Yeah, so that comes first. I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that comes first, and then we get the free update that has Sally and the floating island decorating and all that kind of stuff.
Launching on November 20th, Part 1 of Disney Dreamlight Valley, The Storybook Vale, invites players to make use of their Stardust port once again to be whisked away to the Vale.
You know what?
Our
I'm
second
sorry.
expansion
I
pass
was
gives
going to
players
take a
whole
break
new
anyway
adventure
because I
full
need
of
to
new
do a
friends,
work thing.
quests,
So I'm just going to let this
and
play.
even more surprises.
And I'm going to
Joining
work
us
on my
now
other
to share
screen
more on
for
the
a
narrative
minute.
and game
But
design
this will
of
give
Disney
Judge
Dreamlight
and everybody
Valley,
who
The
didn't see it a
Storybook
chance to
Vale, are
see
some familiar faces
all
from our
about the
last
new
showcase. Josh and
DLC
Quickstep.
expansion. So
Welcome.
here you go.
Hello.
It's about 10 minutes.
I'm sure everyone is buzzing with questions after seeing that amazing trailer. To kick things off, could you share some more insights into the direction behind creating another expansion pass?
Of course. So expansion passes let us recapture the feeling that we gave players the first time they stepped into the valley, telling a whole new story with new villagers to meet, mysteries to unravel, and biomes to make.
Sorry,
all
I was
our own.
muted. I just
They're
said I
a
got to
great way
interrupt for
us
1
to
second,
deliver
sorry,
just
and
a
then
huge amount of
enjoy.
content to players.
And many of our players have interacted with the first expansion pass, Disney Dreamlight Valley: A Rift in Time, which was explored in 3 acts. Should they be looking forward to a similar rollout with this new one?
So for this expansion, we chose to do 2 parts with more content in each. We saw player feedback around the time to reach the conclusion of the story and get you far. And with this new format, you'll get just as much content without as long of a wait. But just like with our first expansion, purchasing the Disney Dreamlight Valley, the Storybook Vale expansion pass will get you both parts as they become available.
More content, fewer cliffhangers? Count me in. Now it's time to spill the beans. What is the exciting story this time?
So the Storybook Vale is the place in your heart where all your most treasured stories live. Once it hung in the sky above Dreamlight Valley, but during the forgetting, two Disney villains stole the veil away. For a time, Maleficent from Disney's Sleeping Beauty and Hades from Disney's Hercules ruled peacefully together over its three unique biomes, the Bind, Ever After, and Mythopia. But soon, a struggle for power between the Mistress of All Evil and the Lord of the Underworld tore the veil apart. As you can imagine, when you get those two egos together in a room, sparks literally fly.
Yes, and when the players arrive in the Veil, they'll find out that things aren't so happily ever after. Ink is spilling out of the very ground throughout the Veil, and other mysterious phenomena have begun to take hold. You'll meet with the Lore Keeper, a talking enchanted book who holds this world together. And while she won't tell many stories in her pages, the discord between Hades and Maleficent has scattered them, so only you can put them back together as you explore the Veil and get a little help from new friends along the way.
Speaking of new friends, we were all treated to a glimpse of some of the villagers who will hopefully join us on our adventures and later our valleys. I'm sure I'm not the only one curious as to what you can tell us about our new friends.
Well, I'm happy to share that part 1 of the storybook Veil will bring with it 3 villagers for you to unlock. In the Bind, you'll find Merida from Disney and Pixar's Brave. Merida is such a fun character, and she seemed like the perfect new friend for the player. This fearless princess will act as your guide, helping you command your own fate and learn more about this new world.
And in Ever After, you'll meet with Flynn Rider from Disney Tango. This swashbuckling rogue will help you uncover a world of fairy tales. Flynn's personality is so exciting to play with. Just watch out when he puts on his smolder. For players who already befriended Rapunzel in Disney Dreamlight Valley A Rift in Time, look out for a special opportunity to reunite the two.
And in Mythopia, you'll meet Hades from Disney's Hercules. Hades will help you to get to the bottom of a world of myths. And in my opinion, Hades is one of the funniest characters ever in a Disney movie, and he brings that same sense of humor to the game. Just watch out as he tries to make you his minion, because he's not exactly the greatest boss.
And of course, all these villagers will come with their own unique houses that you can move to the base game or to a floating island, if that's where you think they work best and want them to live.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna add Hades to my floating island full of villains.
I'll absolutely be making a Tangled-themed floating island to house both Flynn and Rapunzel. But I noticed you didn't mention anything about Maleficent.
While players might run into her in part 1, stay tuned for part 2 to solve all the mysteries of the Veil and welcome her to the Valley.
And that's not all. You can expect one more mysterious figure to join forces with players in part 2 of the storybook Veil.
Aside from new friends helping us, is there anything else we can expect to aid us in piecing back together the Lore Keeper's stories?
Yes, players will have their neural net to aid them.
Why a net?
Well, the scatters pages from the Lore Keeper hasn't just scattered with the wind. They've come to life in the form of snippets, which are enchanted origami creatures that you have to capture. The snippets mostly hang out around the Veil, but watch out for a few special rare ones that will show up back in the Dreamlight Valley.
Can't believe how cute they are. They're gonna be tricky to catch.
Other than looking adorable flying around the Veil, each snippet will come with their own unique way to be captured that the player will need to figure it out.
And once you catch them, you can restore Disney and Pixar magic to the Lore Keeper's pages with a puzzle minigame. Each tale takes the form of a beautiful tapestry telling the story behind a classic Disney or Pixar film, and these tapestries can then serve as beautiful pieces of decor that players can use to furnish their in-game homes.
I can't wait to see the gallery spaces our players are going to design to showcase them. But speaking of designing, as I'm sure players are invested in where to place their home in-game, what can we look forward to when exploring the different biomes in the expansion?
Well, after seeing the feedback from our last expansion, we've improved the flow of unlocking the areas within the biome and how a player progression in turn affect their exploration of this fantastical new world. One of our main goals in crafting the Veil was to allow for easier and more inspired decorating for our decor-driving players. We've also added more magic with the introduction of prominent landmarks inspired by Disney and Pixar stories. But of course, our team delights in creating secrets for players to discover too. Throughout your journey to the Veil, you will uncover trials, special quests inspired by fairy tales and myths. They've become Scrabble-like pages in a book, and only the player can set them right using their full breadth of real tools, old and new.
And I'm sure our community is up for the challenge. With all you've shared, it sounds like there's still many mysteries waiting for us in the Veil. Thank you so much for joining us, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, we invite 2 members of the art team to the stage to share more on the world and artistic design of the Storybook Veil. But first, use the code on screen to claim a Dreamlight Bow headband in-game.
I'm joined by art director Steven and concept artist Yanon to dig into some of the inspiration behind the storybook Veil.
Hey there.
Thanks for having us.
Why don't we start with quite literally the biggest artistic endeavor of the expansion pass, the biomes. Earlier, we were introduced to the Bind, Mythopia, and Ever After. Where did the inspiration for these biomes come from?
In many ways, the bind was born out of our team's collective love of stories. There's something special and uniquely cozy about curling up with a good book. So the decision to lean into dark academia and the cool yet cozy ambience of an autumnal forest just made sense.
And similarly, Mythopia, as you may have guessed from the name, is inspired by Greco-Roman culture and ancient myths. When you explore this biome, you'll walk through rolling fields of golden wheat, dotted with cypress trees, magenta florals, and ancient ruins. And you may also discover subtle clues that a certain god of the underworld has also been there.
Finally, there's Ever After. We drew a ton of inspiration from Scottish and Scandinavian folklore, while sprinkling in Fey mythology. The idea was to capture the feeling of a dark, enchanted mushroom forest and windswept moorlands.
I don't know about you, but for me, one of the most exciting aspects of digging into new biomes is seeing just how they'll translate into clothing and furniture items. Could you share a sneak peek at what folks can expect?
Of course, self-expression is one of the main pillars of our game, so we love the idea of taking inspiration from the new biomes into player customization. Maybe you want to build a cozy library where you can read for hours, or you want to dress up as a Greek god or goddess, or design a magical mushroom fairy forest. I think that there's something for everyone here.
Speaking of expression, we wanted to take our commitment to aesthetic cohesion even further in the storybook Veil. Not only will you find Scrooge McDuck's store and Sherry Me within this new world, but you'll also find their facades have been overhauled to better fit in with their biome surroundings.
You'll also want to keep an eye out for some new additions to Scrooge McDuck's store that will be available to owners of this new expansion pass.
Knowing just how much care you've put into the smaller details of the environment, I'd love to know if there's any landmarks that stood out to you.
Yes, well, speaking of those smaller details, we loved playing with scale in Ever After. In particular, there's a waterfall feature that's inspired by the Mad Hatter's Tea Party from Disney's Alice in Wonderland. I feel like this perfectly captures the whimsy of that biome.
The giant Hades statues in Mythopia is another imposing sight in-game. Between that and the design of Mount Olympus, which features flames that mirror Hades himself, I feel like these players will have a blast picking out the details we worked in.
What about snippets? Where did that idea come from?
The snippets are literal pieces of escaped stories torn from a book. When we were imagining how they may have escaped, we realized we wanted the snippets to have their own personalities. So the idea of origami animals or little paper creatures like a cute and fluttery bird or a silly little frog was created.
I love that. Speaking of cute little animals, are you able to share anything about the new animal companions coming this expansion?
Absolutely. As there will be 3 biomes arriving in the expansion pass, we'll be adding a unique critter to each, all with their own colour variants and puzzling catching mechanics. First of these soon-to-be animal companions for the players to find will be the owls in the bind.
And as a nod to Maleficent's rule of the land, players can find mini dragons in Ever After. And if that's not exciting enough, players can also find mini winged horses in Mythopia, drawing inspiration from Disney's Fantasia.
That's incredible. I know I'll be counting down the days until I can adventure with a mini dragon at my side. To wrap things up, however, any last details on new collectibles and resources?
As you've seen, the Storybook Veil's biomes are remarkable in their own ways, and the resources you can find in each are unique as well.
One of my favorite new additions are koi. They can be found in the bind along with sea wolf fish and delicious sea grapes.
How about you, Steven? Any favorites?
I'm a big fan of the landscaping. Mythopia brings poppies, buried lightning strikes and bougainvillea, and Ever After is filled with bioluminescent moss and giant flora. There's also plenty of edible plants as well, ranging from green beans to porcini to more fantastical ones like ambrosia.
Well, I can't wait to see how our players react to them. With new resources, can we also expect to be cooking up new delectable dishes?
Definitely. We have dozens of new recipes arriving with the expansion pass, utilizing ingredients from both the Valley and the Vale.
Once again, thank you both so much for joining us today to dig into all the amazing art in Disney Dreamlight Valley, the Storybook Veil.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Now, let's take a look at how you can get your hands on the expansion pass.
For those of you who've been following along on this magical journey and already